It is December 2023. The full-scale invasion of Ukraine is about to enter its third year. Russia's assault, which was supposed to last no more than a month, has gone on for 20 times as long, and there are few signs of it ending soon. That sentiment is both celebrated and cursed across the shattered country of Ukraine. So in this last Defence in Depth of the year and of the series, we'll ask how this war will decide whether Russia's actions are the last dying twitches of 20th century fascism or the bolshy teenage kicks of the 21st. The outcome will affect the entire world. So as we stare into 2024, we are all in this arena, whether we like it or not. "2023 has been a year of questions. Why won't the West send more tanks, guns, hope? Then, after watching human wave attacks of such pointless, wasteful stupidity that they earned their own name, meat assaults, how can Russia treat its people that way? Hanging over everything from the battlefields in the Donbass to the streets of Kyiv. Can Ukraine keep going? Can this get any worse?" The same question, perhaps the most important question of all, one that has bookended the year and been asked by those in suits as much as in uniform. How does this end? Another question. What does winning and losing mean anymore? In many ways, Russia has already lost. There is a reckoning waiting for an economy pumped up on steroids just to fund a war. That much has been true for as long as there's been such a thing as war. Russia's woes don't end there. The damage to Russia's reputation on the world stage can no longer be hidden behind a mask of fossil-fueled benevolence. It is, finally, unequivocally, and for all to see, a gangster state. All smiles, as long as you do what it wants. And how much have the warped dystopian dreams of an angry little man mortgaged the future of millions? The flight of mostly energetic and youthful human capital has been from a country that is withdrawing into itself, angry, bruised and vengeful. What a miserable place to spend your short time on this planet that can offer so much. In other ways, though, Russia could be winning. Many around the world have not lost their fascination for the big man theory of history, their love of the dictator, even if not always benign. Their embrace of bullies who offer simple solutions to complicated problems. That model is as flawed as, to some, it is intoxicating. This year has asked questions of the international community. Do you want Ukraine to win, or just to not lose? Promises made, promises not met or only half-heartedly advanced, all with no real explanation of what may or may not be provocative or escalatory. There are questions for us too, and ones we need urgently to answer in the most hostile court imaginable, our own souls. We end the year in a state of peril. Have we become desensitized to the war, to the suffering, to witnessing the utter lack of humanity in the choices being made by men and women about where missiles should land and who gets to live and die? And if not desensitized, do we scroll past, bored? Do we turn the page, hurriedly change the channel? In the quiet moments when we wake in the middle of the night and have only ourselves to hear our whispers, do we ask the unthinkable question, do we still care? What answer comes back from the darkness? Can we allow ourselves the indulgence of becoming desensitized? Do we have the right to feel fatigued? Is acknowledging our exhaustion an act of self-indulgence, proof of Putin's claim that a decadent West cares more for dissecting our own identity politics than fighting for our values and our friends? Or does our weariness, our anger, our frustration, our disbelief that humans breathing the same air as us and smiling at the same sunrise can treat life so casually speak of something more wholesome? Do these emotions actually show that we have correctly functioning moral compasses, and as painful as it is, are doing what little we can from wherever we are to keep the flame of freedom and decency alive? So many questions. But we do also have an answer. We know what will happen if Russia is not shown to be utterly and unequivocally defeated. A weakened but vindictive, conceited and entitled state will emerge from this hellish landscape, hungry only for more power. It will conclude that might is indeed right, that the strong can do what they like and the weak will suffer what they must. It will decide that by breaking, burning and battering it can get its way, that it can outlast NATO, the West, any opposition that dares to protest. The whole model of post-Second World War deterrence will be upset. And Russia will act again, be in no doubt. When, where, who knows? It may decide to test Article 5, NATO's promise of collective defence, especially if the US was distracted by a crisis in the Pacific, for example. Don't think a border incursion into Estonia to protect Russian-speaking citizens following a manufactured difficulty hasn't already been wargamed in the Kremlin. Putin has shown how, to get his own way, he's willing to hurt the things that can't fight back. The environment, the elderly, the children. He will use what he can, wherever and whenever he can, to pretend he is a great man. He is a weak man, whose only vision for the future is one of ego, persecution and tyranny. And if that is a leader, it is one from history's list of thwarted, vain and cruel failures who have, through their brutality and utter lack of conscience, found themselves at the top of the stinking heap they have moulded in their own image as they clawed their way to the top. Those opposed to this man and his sick dream are on the right side of history. So 2023 asked many questions. Few were answered. The call continued to be answered, however. Young, old, civilian, soldier. They have endured. They have continued to fight. As they will in 2024, as long as hope and love survive. And that is our role. There is still a long, painful road to travel, but none of us walks alone. We are with you, as we are all with them. You have a voice, you have a choice. On the eve of 2024, resistance is calling.